This is Mike Siegel from Big Blue Interactive, and with me is Summit 56. Today is day 4 of practice, and the pads came on today, Si.
Well, I mean, hey, we had a front row seat at the fullbacks getting after the linebackers, and that's a key part of the offseason for the Giants leading up to week 1 is, are they going to carry fullback? And if they do, which one are they going to take? Because there's 2 guys competing for the spot right now, and it looks like, inside track, Shane Smith definitely outperformed today.
There's no comparison actually between the two of them.
Yeah, he's as physical as it gets. I mean, from his San Jose Pro Day record, he had one of the best workouts of all the fullbacks in the country. If you go look at fullback workout numbers from the combine, Shane Smith blew them all out of the water, and not just strength-wise, but also movement-wise. So I think the Giants got a good one in him. I can't wait to see him on the field against Pittsburgh next week.
Yeah, he mentioned when you interviewed him how he took out Casillas a couple of times today.
Yeah, and Casillas, I mean, he is as physical linebacker as it gets. And also, in a drill that we saw today, the defense has the advantage because they knew a running play was coming. So the linebackers just naturally fill the lane the second there's movement. And that's usually an advantage to the defense. But Shane Smith, he took it in stride and knocked him back a couple times.
It was great, man. I'll tell you, the hitting was awesome.
Yeah.
So, besides the fullbacks, I guess we were looking at the offensive line guys today.
Yeah, the offensive line. So what they did was they had all 5 offensive linemen out. They had all 4 defensive linemen out, but they only had half the side going live. And that's to prevent injuries, because a lot of offensive line injuries come from what's happening behind them, guys rolling up on their ankles. So I think part of that is just to prevent some injuries. So we got to see a lot of live action. We saw Ereck Flowers go head-to-head with Vernon, and that is the kind of defensive end that Flowers has struggled with so far in his career. Guys that are built low to the ground, guys that can change direction, and Vernon did get the best of him a couple times. So Flowers came back strong, and really he took it to Okwara a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was complaining that Okwara got around him at the last practice, but not today.
Not today. Once it was live, Flowers put his foot in the ground and anchored well, got his hands where he needed to, and that's really what he needs to work on the most, and he did a pretty good job there today.
The other thing that kind of stood out today was the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, we know Eli. We know Eli's Eli. We know Davis Webb is a couple years away. I don't think he really got many, or if any, looks in the 7-on-7 drills today, or in the full team drills. But Geno Smith versus Josh Johnson, that's the battle we're watching right now. Who's going to be the backup week 1 in Dallas? And you got to keep tipping your cap to Josh Johnson. He's as smooth as it gets back there. He's constantly putting the ball where it needs to be. He throws a very catchable ball. He's not making receivers adjust. Where Geno, he just looks a little bit more erratic out there. In his defense, this is his first year in this scheme, in these surroundings, with these coaches, with these players, where Johnson was here last year. But right now, Johnson is definitely exceeding Geno on the performance chart.
And then we had a couple of highlights, like, for instance, Ellison. I mean, every time we see him around the ball, he's smooth, he's got great hands.
One thing you want to watch for when you're watching a guy catch the ball, it's not just like, did they catch it, right? Is there any wiggle on the ball when it comes in contact with their hands? Like, you don't want to see the double catch. We see that with Jarrell Adams a lot, who's not necessarily known for his receiving ability as much. We think he's going to be more of a blocker here, at least this season. But when they throw him the ball, there's that sound that where the ball, it doesn't move at all once it touches his hands. And while he's not going to be a primary receiver in this offense, I do think that he's going to get enough looks underneath where they were throwing him the ball today. He's going to be an important part to Eli Manning's repertoire, because Eli Manning, he's been thrown to the tight end since he's been here a lot. So you need a guy that you could depend on. We don't need a game breaker there, but they need a guy that can be dependable.
Yeah, as an outlet tight end,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's huge.
He definitely looks like he's the real deal, and he's going to pay dividends.
Yep, I think that's going to be just yet another great signing by Jerry Reese.
And at one point, Abdullah came up to right in front of us, and we were looking at him, and that guy's really built.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to compare the bodies of all the running backs on this roster, Abdullah probably has the most built lower body, and I mean, he's chiseled from the waist down, and that is like, if you want to build the ideal running back, that's where you want their meat, that's where you want their strength. There's a lot of little things he does well, and he keeps on catching my attention a little bit. He's got great running aesthetics. He carries the ball high. He's got little jitterbug quickness to him. But in the long run, it's going to be a tough thing for him to make this roster. He might need an injury or two to occur to get there, but he's doing everything right so far. And once I want to see maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday, some pass blocking drills where he goes up against these guys, because again, that's the quickest way on or off a roster for a running back that's on the bubble.
And I guess we could talk about two guys who I know you like, and that's Rudolph and Snead.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Rudolph, I'm pretty sure he was either the highest paid or highest paid undrafted free agent that the Giants signed. And that's usually a sign that this team really wants him, or at least wanted to get a good look at him during training camp. He is not as athletic as some of these other guys, but does not drop the ball, and he's incredibly quick in short spaces. That's how you get open in the NFL, is quickness.
He looked terrific in punt returns today.
Yeah, he's sure-handed. You have confidence in him. When he's on the field, he's not going to make the major mistake. He's not a game breaker. He's never has been, but he does a lot of little things right, and at the end of the day, sometimes that's all you need. And Willie Snead, I mean, he's as fast as it gets. I think if you put all these guys on one field, he's probably the fastest player on the team.
He flashed a few times.
He has John Ross caliber speed.
But he dropped the ball a few times too.
He really struggled today catching the punts. I think he went, I want to say 1 for 5 or 1 for 4 out of the attempts that I saw. And that's, if he's going to make this roster, just like Shane Smith, the fullback, special teams have to be a part of it. And if he's going to struggle as a return man, it's just going to make his hill even higher to climb. But hopefully he can make it, because that kind of speed, you can't ignore it. It can make a big difference on offense.
We have an interview with Shane Smith that I did earlier.
Yep. All right, cool. All right, what's up, guys? We're here with Shane Smith, fullback, one of the two fullbacks on the roster today. Shane, fullback, how did it feel to finally get the pads on?
Oh, it felt great. The first couple days you're kind of anxious to get out there and actually start doing stuff, but all we could do is really thud up, not even thud, but today it was almost full contact, no tackling, but for us fullbacks, it was pretty much full contact. It was a lot of fun just hitting people out there, getting back to what you're used to doing.
Yeah, I mean, it gave us goosebumps, so just hearing those shoulder pads bang, and you and Jonathan Casillas went at it a couple times, and if I have to say, you beat him both times. Don't tell him I said that, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, just going against him is a huge honor. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and I mean, he's an extremely smart player, good player, uses his hands really well, he's fast, he's strong. So just going against him is an honor, and I'm just happy to be able to do it.
Yeah. So it's still very early in your career, but can you give us a couple, some of the main differences you see between the college game and the NFL game?
Yeah, so, well, first off, just the speed. The speed of the game in the NFL is just 10 times faster than college. You're taking the fastest guys in college and putting them all together, and then they're continually getting faster and faster. So first off, that's it. Second of all, the guys are obviously bigger, bigger, stronger. And the playbook is just way more intense, in depth. Every play has 2 or 3 checks that it can go to. So you really got to be on top of your stuff.
Yeah. So what are there a couple things that you can really say you're focusing on in terms of improving your game? Because you come from San Jose State. You were probably the physically most imposing guy in the field all the time. Now you're putting against some grown men that have been in the league for a few times. What are the couple of things that you're really working on?
Yeah, just driving through blocks, you got to always keep your feet moving, especially as a fullback. You can't just hit someone and stay there, because that's pretty much the same thing as the linebacker filling the hole. You got to hit someone and take them out of the hole so the running back can continue running. So I got to continue working on that, especially at this level, and really just catching the football, making sure I can be versatile, and showing the coaches that I can not just block but do other things.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of brings us to our next question. When Ben McAdoo was in Green Bay, they used the fullback a lot of different ways: running the ball, catching the ball, obviously blocking. Give us just kind of a short scouting report on you. Are you someone that we saw today? You can definitely bang heads and move guys. How comfortable are you with the ball in your hands?
I feel really good. I mean, in college I didn't get to run the ball that often, but my junior year I did catch the ball a lot, and I averaged 17.3 yards per catch, which is it's good for a fullback,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my senior year we struggled a little bit more, so we didn't even really get the ball that much. But yeah, I can definitely catch, and I can definitely move around with the ball a little.
Cool. So I mean, I think the fullback role, it's maybe a little bit less in the NFL than it used to be, but it's still a crucial part to a running game. Are you aware of what the Giants' running game struggles were last year?
Not so much. The pass is the pass, and I've heard they struggle a little bit, but I didn't look into it too much depth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's one of the reasons you're here, and I think you have a very inside shot at making this team, because you definitely do what they missed last year. So on special teams, that's another way you're going to have to kind of make your impact to make this final 53-man roster.
Yep.
You know, and that is, you know, that's a whole nother side of the whole nother playbook, whole nother side of the field. How much attention are you allowed to, or do you get to put on that in addition to the offense?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. I mean, as a fullback, you know, if you're lucky to get 30% of the offensive plays, so that means you got to play a lot of special teams. Otherwise, you're not going to be a valuable part of the team. There's only a certain amount of guys on the team, so yeah, you need to play all 4 special teams if you can, and really make an impact on them.
And how close are you guys getting with, you know, you have fellow rookie Wayne Gallman, drafted at Clemson, another undrafted rookie out of James Madison, Khalid Abdullah. Do you guys spend a lot of time off the field, and you guys just trying to help each other out, give each other advice on how to get each other better?
Absolutely. I mean, me and Wayne went to Walmart for an hour last night, so getting some snacks for the veterans.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, we're pretty good friends, and we're looking forward to continually building our relationship.
Cool. Last question, put you on the spot. If there's one guy at San Jose State that's going to be playing for them this year that you think we should be looking for, because, you know, I start my draft, you know, 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
If there's one guy on that roster that you think I should kind of look out for, who is it?
Josh Oliver, the tight end. He's about 6'5", 6'6", 255, and he has room to grow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he was a sophomore last year. He's a junior this year.
Okay.
And I think if he has a great year, he'll hopefully leave in early. That
Yeah.
guy's a good guy to
Wow.
watch. Trust me.
That good. Cool. All right, man. It's great to meet you, Shane. Good luck to you,
Yeah.
man. Can't wait to see you on the field against Pittsburgh next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Coming up are a few selected clips from practice that that illustrate some of the things we were talking about today.
Down the street, got a good-looking woman with her arms around me. In a small town, where it feels like home, I got everything I need.
All right, guys, this is Mike from BBI and Sci 56 signing off on behalf of Eric Kennedy.